Okay, here we go. I am streaming. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be a live coding session. There's this game I'm working on called the Godkiller. If you want kind of an overview of what that game is, um, there is a early preview that we did just a couple days ago. That's up off in the Twitch archive. It's on the YouTube archive if you're seeing this over there. I'm Eric Hermanson. I'm a game designer, programmer, indie game type guy. So Godkiller is in Unity, and most of the session I'm going to be just in the code inside of the IDE. I'm particularly interested in getting some of my game data to be serialized. So there's a interface called iSerializable, and it is used by Unity to handle the conversion of objects to a state which can be saved to disk or memory buffers. So I want that in place in some of my classes that are instanced inside of the game for a couple of reasons. One, it would support some optimizations that would be performed when the scene loads. I can save some of the results of calculations that are made outside of the game, serialize them, and then when I load the scene, it would simply pull those calculations from persistent storage and use those instead of doing the same calculations over again. So that is on my mind. And the other reason is I've got some bugs that I think would be much easier to find if I did something where I kept snapshots of the game state, of like the last 2 or 3 game states, and I would turn that on just while I'm kind of in a dev mode. And if I see the bug, I say, oh, that bug just happened. I know I already got the snapshots of the game states which led up to the bug, so I can go back and look at them. So for those 2 reasons, maybe a few others that I'm not even talking about because they're secret, I want serialization. So let's go into that. All right. By the way, you will be amazed at how good I am at talking when absolutely no one is listening. I have a few years of experience doing this on a podcast. Basically, a lot of performance to dead air, no audience anywhere. That's fine. It is kind of weird, but there's a few reasons why it's not weird. I mean, well, it's not like crazy cuckoo weird. One is it's going to be on archive, and somebody can come along later and watch it. Number 2, practice. I need a little bit of practice. And also, if somebody jumps in to the stream right in the middle while I'm talking, it's going to seem much more lively to them. They might stick around a little bit longer than they would than if I was just sitting here with all slack-jawed, drool coming out of my mouth, not saying anything. So, for those reasons, I talk even when there is no one present. And that doesn't make me crazy, or maybe it does. Okay, so let's see, what objects are we talking about serializing? I want to just do one. I want to have one that works. So I'm going to go into logic. I'm going to go into, so if I was being a little bit cooler, I would like show some nifty class diagram, but I know that the basic structure of this is board is my top level thing that I want to serialize, and there's a number of objects or classes that are instanced inside of it that I want to serialize as well. I can't serialize board unless I've also got serialization in place for these other instances that are inside of the class. So layer set, that's another one of my classes. That needs to be serializable. Heights, that's another one of my classes. Yeah, serializable, has to be. Okay, piece groups. Yep, probably piece groups too. So it's like a hierarchy, and I basically have to go down into the hierarchy and make sure that each of these is serializable. Now if I only had simple types like ints and strings and kind of the built-in types, no object instances, the class would already be serializable. I would just have to add a little bit of code to test that. Now, I'm talking very confidently about things that I do know already, but there are a number of things that I don't know that well, and you're going to see me popping a window up, and occasionally I'm going to say something that's just dead wrong, because I've got this sort of natural confidence that is worsened by performing. Programming tends to be a solitary sport. Having an audience with you at the same time, it brings out the need to announce things, assert things. At least in me it does. Maybe in other people it makes them more doubtful. But let me dig into this a little bit deeper. I want some kind of success today. I want to succeed at something. I'm thinking heights might be a good one to try. So I just have int, that's serializable. Square heights. Oh, I've got even another class to go down into. Square heights. Maybe I want to go to square heights first. Oh, except that's a struct. Okay. So now I got to read a little bit, and just so it's not too boring, I'll bring up the window so that you can read along with me if you like. God, it's so garish to have a bright white thing here. Alright, serializable. This is the interface that needs to be implemented by my classes. So one thing I think I need to do I'll make that bigger. If you want to read it, you can read along. I'm a pretty gracious host, I think. Okay, so can I start by declaring serializable? Sending a little signal that this class is intended to be serializable. Okay. I also need to declare that the class implements iSerializable. Oh, I need to say that I'm using it. Seems like I can do that. Okay. I really began speaking in such a confident way. That was incorrect to be that confident, because I am learning here. So the question is, do I need to implement all of this? Let me examine. Let me back up and examine my premise, my starting premise. I need to implement iSerializable. Unity. Serializing custom class. Let's try that. With custom, here, let me take a look at this. I feel like an idiot because I just started out. I was like, it's so clear to me what the path is. I'll just implement iSerializable. And then something in the back of my head told me, like, no, that doesn't seem right. I think you read something else that you didn't have to do all this stuff. So let's see. Serialization. automatic process of transforming data structures, object states into a format that Unity can store and reconstruct later. So in my head I'm thinking, what's built in and what do I have to write? Ensure I filled in the script to serialize. Ensure it is public or has a serialized field attribute, is not static, is not const, read only, field type. Okay. So what if I started thinking about this in a test-driven way? Because that'll prove a lot faster if I'm right or wrong. I do have a test suite set up. I can create some tests that just simply create an object and attempt to serialize or and then deserialize the same object. So let's start from there. I kind of like that approach better. So heights test. Okay. So inside of this class, if I want to test, I say that. I say this new method I'm going to write. It's going to be a test. Okay. And let's see. I want to create a new heights. Heights equals new heights. Always seems such a redundant thing in these languages to have to always be saying what the new thing is again and again. Okay, so that I have to init my heights with calls and rows. So let's do 1 and 1. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I made it so that it would be explicitly initialized. Man, walk away from coding this for a week and suddenly I forget everything. Let's call it something better. Let's try serialize uninitialized. That's a mouthful. Okay. So then what is the command to serialize something? I just call, no, I don't think I call these directly. I think it's something else. Sometimes you just ask a stupid question and it works better. How to serialize an object. show me some code just that calls the whatever the function is to serialize. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. No. No, that will not tell me. Not that I hold it against that author for not answering my immediate question. Object 2. Byte array. I'm just looking for just a specific code example that shows me how to get it into serialized form. I feel like I must have dismissed like a really fundamental article, a reference someplace. I mean, it's just, I'm just asking about how to do the most basic thing. That's C# though, and I'm really wanting to, well, wait a minute, serializable is, it's not Unity specific. Okay, so you get a formatter, you pass in the object, which is serializable. Okay, this, I'm just going to copy over so I have it. let's just try this. Yeah, why not? All right, system, blah, 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 runtime. Okay. Then memory stream. Where does memory stream come from? System IO. Ah. I don't think I need. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So let me just see. Let me just see if it'll even do anything at all. Okay. So bytes equals. I'm not gonna type that 5 million times. 2 byte array. 2 bytes. 2 bytes. 2 bytes. The height's to bytes. All right. And then what else can I say? Insert bytes length. I mean, really, I'm going to deserialize it and do comparison between those two objects. Man, it's not good to go between JavaScript at work and C# at home all the time. All right. Is true. Bytes length greater than 0. And then let's do assert debug log bytes. Build all. Oh yeah, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Go back to the test runner and I think I should have a new guy coming in here. It built fine. Bytes test. Okay. Did I forget something? I must have. Or maybe it's just slow. Let's go back. Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Alright. Very likely to blow up. Go ahead. Scenes actually have nothing to do with the test. Okay. So the assertions were successful. It's not really useful to debug log a byte array I'm learning. But I can run in the debugger, and I can set a breakpoint. Might be kind of useless to look at a byte array too, but I'm just going to do it because I just want to make sure I got something. Run select. Here we go. Bytes. 178. There we go. And they're populated with actual data. It's not like a bunch of zeros or something crazy. So then the question is, now that we've successfully serialized an object, have we serialized everything inside of it? I would assume not. I would assume it didn't really know how to serialize everything. There's a way that I can test this pretty well, I think. Let me think. So part of me says that I could serialize it, oh, sorry, got a little bit of hiccups. Could serialize it, that data that's returned from the serialization, I could deserialize, which would create a new instance of the class, in theory with the same data that was in the first instance that got serialized. And then I could serialize that second instance, and I could compare the byte values of the two. However, that would be a good test that everything that those objects had set out to serialize was correctly transferred, but it wouldn't be a good test that everything inside of the object was serialized. So it would be nice if there was like a way that I could test this without doing like member-to-member comparisons, but I think to be thorough, I'm going to have to instance that second object by deserializing and actually compare its members to each other to see that they have what I want. But that's presumptuous of me, because how do I even know that I can deserialize? I just figured out how to serialize. So what I think I need to make sure I can just deserialize, and I happen to know that it's probably called instantiate from serialization. I'm kind of wondering, am I mixing some C# specific stuff with some Unity specific stuff? This is the danger of my ignorance. On the plus side, serialization is serialization, so even if I weren't doing it the official Unity way, and I was doing it the C# way, I'd be home free for my purposes. Alright, I'm going to try the stupid question way. Unity. Deserialize to an object. Not from JSON, I don't want that. No, not JSON, not JSON. This sort of looks like it might be helpful. I just don't know why so I'm going to like content which is very specific about maybe trickier ways to do these things. And I really just seem to have failed in finding like the basic documentation, which that's on me. Or maybe it's on Unity. Maybe they organize their docs really weird. Or maybe it's on Microsoft. Yeah, I shouldn't just take blame for my own ignorance. That's JSON. No. This doesn't help. I thought it was a method called instantiate. I really did think it was called instantiate. Let's see. I'm just going to take out anything with JSON in it. Okay. You know, it should be the formatter. I mean, that's symmetrical. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, so what we got here? Oh yeah. So I've already got my binary formatter. So I deserialize from the memory stream that I have. This person's got a file stream, and that should create a brand new instance of the class. So yeah, let's try that. I don't even need that. I don't need to copy and paste. Okay, so make the reverse. Private object. I forget. Is it little o object or big O object? To object. It's little o. Okay. Bytes. Okay. And if I was trying to be efficient, I wouldn't instance this every time. This is just test code. Let's see. And then I also need to be able to get the bytes into a memory stream. I just wonder if it's as simple as bytes. Like that. And I wonder if this is as simple as, you know, it's not really my coding style to do this using thing. Why wouldn't I just type this like that? Like, what's the point of that using? I'm going off on a tangent there, but whenever I wonder why somebody did something a certain way, most of the time it just means I'm ignorant of something cool that they know and I don't. But it's not like me to use things I don't understand. I could go and look up that using thing right now, but I'm occupied with other stuff and I kind of don't want it in there if I don't really understand it. Okay, so BF deserialize. Let's deserialize this baby. Okay. Like, I'm not even going to do assertions on this one. I'm just going to step through it. I just want to see the action as it happens. So let's do heights 2. I just like saying things with height in it. Byte and height equals. I'm going to have to cast it. To object. Bytes. Heights. Alright, so I'm going to step into that. Well, I'm going to build it first. Build. It seems to me that's got like a 29% chance of working. But I am an optimist, so maybe it's 28. Come on, Unity. You ever alt-tab to another app and it just doesn't even do anything? It doesn't pop up. It just, you're still just kind of waiting to go to the place you asked to go. That's not a good sign. So let's see what is going on. Yeah, I thought so. You're spinning on something. You're spending a long time. All I did was ask for a build. My build's done in the IDE, which means you're probably going to crash on my Unity. You're not the most, you're a lovely piece of software, Unity, but you are not the most trustworthy. And I do have to slap you down sometimes. Got to force quit you here. And I would make the same comments about Visual Studio Community version that ships with Unity. It's all miraculous until you try to do something just a little bit off and yeah, look at it funny. That's why I do a lot of saving and I do a lot of git committing, even though I'm not sharing the code with anybody else at this time. I've got a local Git repository, and every once in a while, usually right after something's going right or I'm going to try something a little bit risky, I will do a git commit all of all my files, including the assets in the Unity project other than code, and it saved my ass a number of times. So are you going to load up for me now, Unity? Are you going to be responsive? Are you going to be responsible? Look at that. It's like, all I said is, load my project, please. I didn't say, let's try something scary. I said, that project that I had before, can we load it? Can we just load the friggin' project? There we go. There we go. No, I don't want a new version. If I installed every new version that they prompted me with, like I would be installing a new version like immediately after I got finished installing the last one. It would be never-ending installs. Okay, main object, that's my way I just kind of get into here. Make sure that the editor connection is there. Okay, good. Gotta be careful not to mess up the positioning with OBS. I want the edge of this window to be just so, and I apologize if I've confused anyone. Okay, all that just to run a little bit of code. Let's start debugging. Can we debug? Can we debug? Can we debug? Yes, we can. Then I head over to the test runner. I go to my friend Heights test. I do my serialization test run. Okay, so I know at this point I have some bytes. We already know that that works. Question is, with my bytes, can I take the bytes to Heights? I go into the new method I created. Expect binary formatted instance. Memory stream may not. This one I just took a risk. Intuitively I thought, if I pass bytes into the constructor, it's probably going to make a memory stream that is attached to those bytes. Let's see. Yes, execution. Let me just check out that object real quick. Look at that. Capacity 178. So I fully expect that it's populated such that it represents the memory I gave it. So let's deserialize. Now here, I think it'll work. I don't know what it returned yet. Ooh, so it's gonna try to assign something to Heights too. We could get a cast exception here. Man, this is something I've never done before. If it works, it's just a small victory. And then Heights 2. What are you? What are you, Heights 2? It is an instance of the class. You gotta appreciate the little things. Squares null, water height 0. Okay. So let's think about that. what does my original heights have? It has squares null, water height 0. So far, so good. I don't expect static members to be part of that serialization. But these instance members, they are there. They're there as expected. So now we win by incrementalism, I think. So I'm going to hit play. This is a test. I will make an actual test here. I will make this a proper test that we can successfully serialize a uninitialized heights is null. No, let's see. This is better. I'll say r equal heights dang it. Syntax autocomplete's not working real well. Okay, square heights is going to be null. Heights 2 square heights typo city. But even then I must have messed up. What's the dealio? Oh, it's private, that's why. I know people say that you should never expect to access private members inside of unit tests because you're supposed to be testing the contract of the object, but it's a pain in the ass. It's a little hobgoblin here. I can set this to public. Kind of don't want to, because I did intend it to be private. Let's see. But I don't really have like the methods I have that would call it. They assume that it's non-null. So anything that would test it for nullness would require a new public interface that would be created solely for this friggin' unit test. And I hate cluttering up my code like that. This might be the correct response to the people that say, I mean, this might be the correct exception to the argument that you should only use public interfaces or public variables inside of your unit tests. Because I don't want to clutter up my contract. Okay, I'm really spending too much time thinking about this. Water height, I believe I do have something for that. So let's say get water height, heights test. Okay. And do I want to check the square? You know what? It's not that important because I'm going to make some other tests. The other tests are going to be checking for populated values. I think this is okay. This is okay. So yeah, my options at that point were make those private values public, and then it seems to imply that that's part of the contract of the object, and no, they're meant to be encapsulated. Or a second option was create like a kind of a bullshit public interface that would be like our square height's null, or our square height's set, or something like that, and that's clutter. Or my third option is I'm going to test the setting of that value with in other test cases here. So why not just skip it in this test? It's not going to be the end of the world. So I believe this is a valid test, and I believe that it's going to pass. Let's test that, and then hopefully after that we'll get a little momentum going on the rest of this. And hopefully Unity won't crash on me every time I try to run a test. Because running a test is that's not a large request. So let's try that. What happened? Oh, we're waiting for it to do this late build thing. Okay, it worked. Cool. One down. So then, what else is inside of this object that could want to be serialized? Let us see. So what are the things? The static members, don't care about those. Don't need to serialize those. They're kind of built into a different instance that's shared amongst everything, right? Square heights I'll definitely need. And I think that is probably it. So just go down a little bit. Okay. So square heights is a struct. And I don't know what the rules are for serializing structs. But I'm thinking instead of going into all the docs about it, I can start out with just a simple test that I really expect to fail, but it doesn't hurt to try. And I might get lucky. It might just work right away. Or it might teach me that it doesn't work and there's a good reason why not. Serialize with squares, with square heights. Okay, so I need to set up heights so that it tracks something. Okay, so what just in case anyone wants to force for the trees, this particular structure, what is it for? It's it keeps track of the floor and ceiling heights across the board. So when we're inside of Unity, there's this scene here. I'm trying to scroll in the game view, that won't help. Okay, there's a scene here, right? And although Unity keeps its own representation, of course, of like all the polygons and meshes that make up this scene, I have a much more simplified representation of it, which is much faster to process, to check that what's happening with game objects as they move through the world here. So if there's a guy that's standing on top of here and he drops off the edge, I can check really fast where he's supposed to land. I can check really fast if he's walking underneath of a ceiling, how high up the ceiling is, where the camera should be such that it shows him without anything obstructing him in the way. So that height structure is highly optimized representation of the floors and ceilings in my world that lets me do things very fast. And it's going to eventually let me do things like have these just cavernous voids and have creatures and characters fall into it and be instantly at the bottom, things like that. So that's what heights does. And heights, in order to do that, it's got another structure called square heights. And square heights. What does square heights contain? Square heights contains. Oh, this is the test for square heights. Never mind that. So I'm going to go back up to square heights. I'm going to reacquaint myself with what's in it. There's an array here that has ceiling and floor heights in it. Just an array of ints. And this is a static. I don't care about that. So this is just basically, it is a struct with an array of ints in it. It's that simple. So a very good candidate to serialize and deserialize without a lot of work. And by the way, if I can get this whole structure to serialize, I'm going to call it a successful session. So let's see. I can add a wall to that. Okay. So there's going to be some methods inside of heights that allow me set these square heights at specific squares. Let me see. It's going to be a setter. Set floors and ceilings. So I can pass in a few things to this in my test to initialize it. So here we have heights, and I can take heights and call set floors and ceilings. I can say wait, what's C and what's R? Oh, that's the column and row. Okay, so I also have to init. That's right. Okay, heights init. JS is lowercase method and C# is uppercase method. So let's make the simplest one here. And it's not 1 based, it's 0 based. So we'll say for column 0, row 0, we're going to pass this list of floors and ceilings. List int floors equals new list int. So this is the redundancy of C#. I have to say new list int 2 times to initialize it. Can I pass an array in? I think I can. Yeah, what can I? Let's do 10, 20, 30. Yeah, let me do that. Oh man, I'm just failing. Man, you go a week away from this stuff. Let's try this. Floors. What is it? Push. 10. No. It's not fun to switch between 2 languages. Is it add? Add. Okay, then we'll do the same thing for ceilings. Feel a terrible lack of elegance here. I should have been able to initialize that ceilings list much more elegantly. Floors, ceilings. Okay, so that should set up. That should set up my heights. Oh yeah, a lot of times you learn from these. Collection, yeah. So you're saying, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Oh, I just missed it by a little bit. Okay, I got it. Okay, so kudos to Visual Studio for prompting me to fix the inelegance. I knew I had it wrong. I knew it was just gross to put those ads underneath. There we go. That's much better. I feel less embarrassed about that. Okay, so I know water height is going to be fine. The question is, how are the floors and ceilings going to be? What do I have in the way of a contract to check that? Just a simple way. The problem is I didn't make any extra methods beyond what I needed to do in the game. So I don't know if I've got something that just says give me all the heights and ceilings. Let me see. I just want to not add a bullshit only for unit testing method to this. Okay. So I can call these, but they've got some extra logic in them that is It shouldn't be coupled to that particular test. Oh, it's like possibly my girlfriend's texting me. Let me double check that. Nope, not yet. Cool. Because when she does, then I gotta get going on dinner. And I want to finish this before I have to make dinner. I want to make my heights bites, bites to heights, heights bites. Oh, get floors and ceilings at squares. There we go. That's exactly the method I want. So thankfully I already wrote that. Okay, heights to get floors and ceilings at squares. Column 0, row 0, out list int floors 2, out list int ceilings 2. So a thing that you might detect from watching this is that I am a veteran programmer, but a Unity C# newbie. Maybe I'm being too gracious. Maybe you didn't see that I am a veteran programmer, but I have been writing code for, God, 25 years? Scary. So one thing I'm wondering now is, can I compare two lists with one of the methods in it without it being like just a check of the instances? So, you know, I can find out pretty easily, though, if I can do that or not. If I say R equal floors 2 and ceilings 2. I know if it's like just a too simple instance check, I know this will fail. The only way it could succeed is if it was actually doing an iterative check over the list. So let us build that. Let us run that. This thing bugs me. So my build's successful. Now I gotta come over here and I gotta wait again. Like I know if I hit the run right away, it's not going to be the code that I just contributed. So I'm kind of waiting for that little spin to start again. Maybe it did just now. Oh, there it is. See, like if I had hit run before, it just would have ran the old version of the code. So it's like I've got two little hoops to jump through. Let's run this guy. 70% chance it'll go and be successful. Oh, okay. Ooh. Okay, well, it told me. I mean, it told me right there what I need to do. Okay, I know you can't see what I was looking at because I had Unity sized wrong for OBS. And normally I have it set up right, but I was like fiddling around with it early when it crashes. So my tester in the test runner failed. And it says underneath square heights, if you remember, was that thing that held all the height information. Okay, is not marked as serializable. So I think the next thing for me to do is to go into square heights, set this guy to be serializable. And then do my build again. And we'll come back. I'm going to wait for the second build. Don't run your test right away, even though it said the build complete. Wait for the spinny. Wait for the spinny. Wait for the spinny. This is not a performant way to test unit tests. It really isn't. I mean, I'm used to so much faster and better. Okay, it worked. It worked. And that's very cool to me. And just to make sure that I'm doing it right, just to make sure, just to make for absolute damn sure, I'm going to go back to the heights test, and I'm going to make this I'm going to make this have an extra column. Yeah, let's do 2 by 2. Okay. And I'm going to add in just a few more. Just a few more. Because in my mind I'm thinking like maybe the serialization gets tripped up on a multi-dimensional array. I mean, there are like a bunch of rules to serialization I'm not familiar with. Some of them have already surprised me. There's one, the stuff about nullable, it just makes me angry actually. So I just want to make sure that there's no edge case here. That if I just add some slightly unique things here, let's do a 7. Let's do a ceiling. Let's just keep it simple. Let's do 1. Do ceilings. Add 21. If I just add that little wrinkle in there, it's not going to be a big deal. 2 and 2 and 3, 1 and 3. Okay. And then I'm going to check on a few other things. So this is not going to be out again. It was already initialized. Can I reuse that variable? That's another question. Can I go like that? I can. I can pass it in again. Learning new syntax features all the time. Oh, but then I don't have all the floors from. Oh. Okay. God, my test code is getting really complex now. Which could be an argument to break it out into more tests, but I just don't feel it's really worth it. I'm so close to having this. I just want to test one little extra wrinkle. So I could assign more floors and ceilings up here, but I could also just get the floors and ceilings from the original. So I can go heights, get floors and ceilings at 1 0 1 0, floors, ceilings, and check that the floors and ceilings are equal. And then I just made a little boilerplate here. So 1 0 1 0. Let's do. No, this is also heights. No, this is heights. That's heights. Okay, right. Heights goes to floors and ceilings. Heights 2 goes to floors 2 and ceilings 2. Check that they're equal. Repeat for the remaining 3 squares. And then we will be done. Assuming the test passes, I will have successfully learned to serialize. Okay. And I will not write more tests as long as this one doesn't show me something important. Okay, build was successful. Waiting for you, Spinny. It's like Unity's trying to fool you into running that test too early. Okay, I saw it spin, I saw it stop spinning, so now I know I can hit run. I can hit run. Oh, 42% chance it passes. I was right to be a little pessimistic. Expected and actual or both. With 2 ounce. Values differ at index 1. Okay, I probably wrote the test wrong, but let's check it out. Which line? 59. 59. Let's check it out. 59. Ceilings 2. Oh, I know why. Because I kept on reusing this floors and ceilings variable to set up the other ones. When I came down here, it was no longer the case that floors and ceilings was set to the original value that I wanted to compare against. So instead of relying on that original value, we just go get it fresh. Like I did for the boilerplates below. Okay. So that should do it. I'm going to raise my success prediction up here, because I think I said 43% or Douglas Adams 42%. But now I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say 61% chance. Oh, wait, unless I don't wait for the spinny. If I don't wait, come on. It really is ridiculous. Am I supposed to put in a punch card? Did it fail to build? No, it was successful at the build. Okay, let's run. There. Okay, mission accomplished. So that was an hour. It took me an hour to serialize one thing. But, in all fairness to myself, a great programmer, man of wisdom, lover of small animals, I did spend a certain amount of time at the beginning learning about, what the hell is serialization? How does it even work? Is it like magnets? And I started overconfident. I thought I could figure things out at the same speed I was talking. I was wrong. I had to go hunt around inefficiently inside of web pages. I had to explore nooks and crannies of the internet. I had to probably read past the correct answer to my problems because I was in a hurry and being impatient, and then return to it later to find it again. I chalked that up to getting used to this whole live coding thing. Thankfully, when I'm sitting at my desk at work, I'm not such an incredible idiot that I would be talking out loud all the time and putting on a show for everyone. Also, though, a thing I have learned is I don't mind being an idiot in front of people. Doesn't bother me at all. A lot of things I don't do that well. A lot of people are smarter than me. A lot of things I do reasonably well, but they're not that impressive. That's okay. As a whole, I think I'm a pretty good package, and I'm secure in that. So, serialization achieved, and I'm going to sign off here. I saw one viewer tagging along with me, and that's pretty cool. I'm happy to have one viewer. Didn't see you in chat. Otherwise, I'd say hi to you by name. Yeah, come check me out later maybe, or make a decision now. Never again. If it did not help your life in any way, don't come back and ruin it any more than you already have. All right, time to stop streaming. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop the stream. Man, now I kind of want to keep going. No, stop.